The cafeteria had never felt so loud, yet so painfully empty for her. When Hannah Walker stepped through the glass doors of the bustling restaurant that rainy afternoon in Chicago, she felt every pair of eyes slide over her like she was something out of place. And in that moment, standing awkwardly, clutching her bag, scanning rows of occupied tables, she realized the truth. No matter how fast she tried to outrun the memories of being the girl no one chose, the world had a cruel way of reminding her. Even now, as laughter bubbled from a nearby table and whispers fluttered like sharp little birds, the weight of old wounds rose in her chest. But what she didn't know was that within minutes, one unexpected gesture from a stranger named Ethan Blake would silence the entire room and change her life forever. If you believe in kindness, in compassion, and in second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us spread more stories that touch the heart. Hannah had never planned to be here. She'd come only because her company insisted the new hires attend an informal team lunch. Being the newest addition to the marketing firm, she had hoped this would be her chance to finally feel like she belonged somewhere. For years, she'd lived quietly, almost invisibly, trying to break free from the timid girl she used to be, the girl who ate lunch alone in high school, the girl who got talked over in college study groups, the girl who learned to make peace with silence because silence never humiliated her. But stepping inside the sleek, modern restaurant, its huge windows reflecting the gray skyline, its rows of polished tables filled with confident professionals, she felt herself shrinking again. Her coworkers had arrived earlier and filled 2 long tables. They didn't wave her over, not even the ones who had smiled at her during orientation. They were laughing loudly, clustered close, clearly comfortable without her. She spotted one empty seat between 2 women from her department, but when she hesitated, just for a second, unsure if it was taken, they saw her looking and shifted their purses subtly, almost purposefully, blocking the chair. One of them even leaned over to whisper something while her shoulders shook with quiet laughter. Hannah's stomach twisted. She turned away, pretending she hadn't noticed. Every step she took deeper into the restaurant seemed to make her more transparent, more fragile. She scanned the room again, heartbeat quickening, throat tightening, searching desperately for somewhere, anywhere, to sit. But the place was packed, and every time she neared a seat, someone slid into it first or someone's eyes flickered with that silent message she knew too well: not here. Not you. Her fingers trembled as she smoothed the front of her blouse, trying to keep her breathing steady. Maybe she should just leave. Maybe she wasn't built for this world of polished confidence and easy connections. Maybe. Her thoughts were interrupted by soft laughter behind her. Not loud. Not cruel. But unmistakably aimed in her direction. A group of young professionals at a corner table were glancing at her, trying, and failing, not to smirk. She lowered her head, feeling heat rush to her cheeks. And then, everything stopped. A voice, not harsh, not loud, but firm, cut through the air with a presence that seemed to silence even the clinking of glasses. "Miss, excuse me." She turned. There he stood. The man from across the room. The one who had been quietly reading a document on his tablet, seemingly unaware of the commotion around him. Ethan Blake. Tall, neatly dressed, with a calm kind of confidence that didn't demand attention but naturally drew it anyway. His eyes, steady, warm, met hers with something she hadn't felt from anyone in a long time: recognition. Not pity. Not curiosity. Recognition. He stepped away from his table, pulling out the chair across from his own, his gesture smooth and deliberate. His hand motioned gently toward the seat, not rushing her, not pressuring her, just offering. In an instant, the entire room fell into an unexpected hush. Even her co-workers paused. Even the group who'd been laughing grew silent. It took Hannah a second to realize why. Ethan wasn't just any man. Several people in the restaurant seemed to know him, his reputation or his presence carried weight. Whatever it was, it made the sudden quiet hum with something like disbelief. Hannah blinked, unsure. Why her? Why now?" But his expression didn't waver. And something in her, something small and tired and hopeful, guided her feet forward. As she reached the table, she half expected him to laugh, or retract the offer, or reveal it was all some mistake. But he didn't. Instead, he waited until she sat, then gently pushed the chair in for her. A gesture so simple, so old-fashioned, yet so profoundly kind that her throat tightened. The room slowly resumed its noise, but something had shifted. She could feel it in the atmosphere, in the curious glances, in the way the whispers faded quickly whenever Ethan's eyes swept the room. His presence alone seemed to erase whatever mockery had been building around her. She looked down, eyes watering before she could stop them. She wasn't used to moments like this, moments when someone chose kindness without expecting anything in return. Moments when the world paused for her instead of moving on without noticing. Ethan didn't ask why she'd been standing alone. He didn't question why no one had invited her over. He didn't try to pry into her discomfort or comment on the looks people had given her. Instead, he simply spoke softly about the rainy weather, the city skyline, the food in the restaurant, gentle, grounding conversation that eased the stiffness slowly leaving her shoulders. Bit by bit, she found herself breathing easier, hearing her own voice steady as she answered him, discovering little pieces of confidence she didn't know she still had. And as they talked, something inside her began to mend, something she'd been carrying since the days she had sat alone in crowded cafeterias and told herself she didn't mind. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have guessed, was that Ethan had noticed her the moment she walked in. Not because she was awkward, not because she seemed lost, but because he recognized the familiar look of someone standing on the edge of belonging, waiting for a sign that the world could make room for them. He had been that person once, many years ago, before life had changed and success had come. And he never forgot what it felt like to be unseen. So offering her that seat wasn't an act of heroism. It was an act of remembering, and an act of choosing to be the kind of person he once needed. As the lunch unfolded, something extraordinary happened. Her co-workers, finally noticing she wasn't hovering awkwardly in the background, began casting uncomfortable glances toward her, clearly surprised that she wasn't eating alone. Some of them whispered, clearly realizing they might have made a mistake in ignoring her. But Hannah didn't look their way anymore. She didn't need to. The storm outside slowly passed, and sunlight began to shimmer through the huge windows, illuminating the table where she sat, no longer invisible, no longer uncertain, but grounded in a moment of unexpected grace. By the time dessert came, she felt the weight inside her replaced by something warm and alive. Not because Ethan had saved her, but because someone had finally shown her what compassion looked like when it was given freely. If this story has touched your heart in any way, please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your engagement helps us continue sharing stories that inspire kindness and hope. Before we end, please write in the comments, "Kindness matters." It helps this message reach more people who may need it. The truth is, life doesn't always give us perfect moments. Sometimes it gives us rainy afternoons, crowded rooms, and reminders of old wounds. But sometimes, if we're lucky, it also gives us people like Ethan Blake. People who offer a seat when the world offers none. People who silence cruelty with simple gestures. People who remind us that there is still goodness in strangers. And for Hannah Walker, that single moment didn't just change her day. It changed everything.